everybody. I'm Mona Lisa with Parents with Incarcerated Children. I'm here today and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the consequences of mental health diagnosis if gone unaddressed. And with me today, we have Dr. Dominique Remaker. She is a clinical psychologist. And also we have Mayumi McKinley. She's a psychotherapist and founder of Epiphany Counseling, Consulting, and Treatment Services. Thank you, ladies.
No problem. Glad to be here.
They are such I keep bragging on them because I'm just so impressed with number one, the fact that we got women doctors, women in medicine. I love that. I am a feminist, okay, so I'll keep it real. I believe women should take their powerful seat in society, and I really want to thank you guys for allowing your gifts to come forward and share with everybody. So let me just sort of give an idea of what we're talking about. We're talking about the importance of treatment after release from jail and or prison. A lot of us are facing the fact that our loved one is about to come out. They're either out or they've just come out or they're about to come out. And the question that I have is it important to get the treatment once they're released from jail? And if it is important, then what are the consequences if they don't get the treatment?
Definitely, it's important to continue treatment or start treatment. If they did not receive treatment inside of their correctional facility, they should definitely go talk to someone immediately when they come out. And the consequences of them having untreated mental health issues, it could lead to the return of incarceration. But it's going to be very hard for them to adapt back into society, especially depending on how long they were gone. Cell phones have changed. The way to get a job is different. High school diploma isn't just getting you the greatest job anymore. And having to deal with rejection constantly because they were incarcerated is very tough. So speaking to someone about everything they experienced while incarcerated, as well as how it feels to just be back in society and not be welcomed.
Let me ask you a question again. Now, what about the people who feel like when they come out, they don't want to remember the past? They want to act like it never exists and they just want to erase it from their mind and say to you, like I've had many parents call me and say, my kid doesn't even want to go. They refuse to go because they don't want to remember anything. They just want to start fresh and not even act as though they were ever in the prison.
I think those individuals might face the fact that you're going to hit, the mental health is not going to go away. The issue is not going to go away. You might be okay the first year or two when you get out, but the depression might come back, the anxiety might come back, the psychosis might come back. It's just temporarily voided in the moment. And I think that it's important for them to do it now rather than later when it's out of control and you don't even realize you have an issue.
Well, what I would add to what you're saying is meet them where they're at. I can understand if you've been in jail, prison for X amount of time, the first thing you may not want to do is get out and talk about everything that happened while you were there, but that doesn't mean that you can't seek treatment. If you want to start with, hey, I'm out, how am I going to get acclimated back into the swing of things, then let your therapy start there. And you can tell the therapist that. And if you have a very skilled therapist, they'll meet you where you're at. And then as time goes on, you can start to make those connections and intertwine, and it becomes easier to talk about, well, this is what I experienced there. And the therapist can help the person make those connections between maybe why, I don't know, their relationships are a little bit strained, or why they're not connecting so quickly with family members and friends and, girlfriends or boyfriends when they get out because of some of those things, and then slowly help them make the connection. It doesn't have to be, you need to go and talk about why you went. It doesn't have to be that. And what I would add to that as well is I think it's just important for the family of those who are incarcerated to get treatment if you know the person is coming out. Go to family therapy. Talk about what is it going to be like. Talk with someone about how you can support that person when they get out. What are your expectations? Even if it starts off as a family thing. This person has already been incarcerated. They've served their time, right? And sometimes going to therapy feels like they're doing time. I've already dealt with all of that. And so if you do it as a collective instead of, you just got out and you serve your time now, you are the problem, so you need to go to therapy, right? Making it more of a collective in terms of the family. We're all going to go because you're coming back. Let's see how we can make this environment supportive of you and we can work together. because it's a change for the family as well. You know, the person is behaving in a certain way, and you're like, why are you doing that? You're not in jail anymore. Or why are you doing that? You know, you don't have to do that. Get with it. Not understanding all of the psychological, you know, training and this person is encompassed behind all of that. It's not that quick. It's not a you're out now, you're free, let's go. You should be able to get a job, be happy that you're free, let's go, let's go, let's go. No, it's not that simple. So really helping everyone work together and understand that it's just as important for you to be prepared emotionally and mentally for this person getting out, as excited as it's gonna be. You know, excited as you are to see your loved one, as it is for them, and maybe starting it off as a family thing, a family therapy session, and then meet the person where they're at. Okay, I'm not saying you have to go in to talk about prison or jail, but just go and just talk. What's it like to be out? And if they have a skilled clinician, then the rest is history. It'll work itself out.
And also, I would add, if they're not ready to talk to a clinician, maybe just help them utilize their resources. Meet with a social worker in the community that can help them with finding a job, and helping them get their ID back and their license, and just utilizing resources might be the first step. It might not be let's go talk to a mental health therapist, but once you get in the door with a social worker, they're going to give you all the resources to connect with us anyway.
How do you get in the door with a social worker? What are the steps for that?
I think it depends on your city or in your state, but you can look up for like your county records and see who offers social work for individuals, and usually it's low income. Mimi, I think you might know a little bit more about.
In California, yeah, from the social worker in California, you can dial 211. Every state has their 3-digit number that they can call, and you can ask for information. There's a NAMI. NAMI is worldwide. They can always check in with NAMI, see what resources are there for them mental health. National Association of Mental Illness.
Yeah.
Is that National Association of Mental Illness? So NAMI is worldwide, and every state has one. You can go online. They have lists of resources, lists of things that they cover and pay for, all of that. And so just utilizing your resources, and that would be the first step of finding, especially a therapist or someone in your area, in addition to your website where people can get the first step. But I know for California it's 211.
311 in New York
is for Georgia, but if you Google, just literally Google like resources for someone that's recently been released from prison, I'm sure thousands of things will come up, or just social work near me with your zip code, and you'll find someone. And I would try to stick with county because those resources might be more affordable or free, just to start there.
That makes sense.
And don't get discouraged. I'm going to say that don't get discouraged, because when it comes to therapy, I've talked to a lot of people who just had horrible first experiences when it came to finding a therapist or utilizing some of the county resources when it's, when they're free services, and they just get totally turned off. And what I would tell them is don't give up, keep going. You'll find your right match. You'll find the right organization for you, because every organization isn't for everybody. And so whether it be a church-based organization or a community-based organization or a nationally based organization like NAMI, just make sure that you keep looking. And I know it can be exhausting, but root up your family members and friends, and everybody kind of support one another in trying to find what's best for that person, for that family member.
How do you actually interview, if you will, someone to determine whether or not they're your type of clinician? How do you do that?
I think you should. You should not be afraid to ask us questions during your first session. We're asking you a ton of questions that first meeting, and it's important for you to ask us too. What is your training? Have you ever worked with someone that looked like me? Have you ever worked with someone that has these symptoms? You need to interview them just like you would if you were interviewing for a job. You always go to a job with questions for the employer. So you're paying this person, or someone's paying the person. You should definitely feel comfortable enough to ask questions, even if you feel like it's rude. That's why we always ask, do you have any questions for me? And that's Go ahead.
Something I end every session with. You know, I've asked you a lot of questions. Is there anything that you want to know about me? You can first research your person online if you have that luxury, you know, if that person happens to have their practice or their own psychologist today. If not, you can definitely do what Dominique said in terms of, Dr. Rimiker said in terms of, you know, asking the questions. Come with your list of questions. And a lot of places and a lot of clinicians do offer 20-minute rather consultations. I know for myself, if someone wants to set up a 20-minute consultation just to kind of see if they're a right fit, um, then that's totally okay. And it's something that's not a right fit based on my area of expertise. It's my job to refer out and say, you know, based on what you're saying, I don't know if I'm going to be the best fit because I don't specialize in X, Y, and Z. Let me refer you to another person. But ask. I think it's also give yourself. I mean, don't give it one time. I would say give it at least 2 or 3 goes. Unless you're just totally offended. I've had some people who have just been totally offended, unfortunately, based upon how a person acts or something that they said. So I'm not going to leave that out. But I would say give it at least 2 or 3 times to see if you see how comfortable you feel with the person, and then make a decision. It's all about your comfort level. Can you tell your deepest, darkest thoughts in that office?
Because therapy is an intimate relationship.
It is.
So we're going to ask you, you will be vulnerable at times. Can you be vulnerable with the person that's sitting across from you?
And it's private. I'm sure you guys don't repeat anything, and it kind of goes to your grave with you, right?
Unless, you know, there's things that we can't, we can't
Well, typically that's what people worry about, especially if someone's going through a divorce or someone who already has some interaction with the legal system or involved in the legal system. That's another thing that deters people from coming. So everything in therapy is confidential. But let's 3 and 4. If you're a threat to someone else or you're gravely disabled, those are usually the 3 reasons that we have to immediately we have to share something, and you know, share something with someone else, because we have to keep you safe in times when you're unable to keep yourself safe. I mean, unless you have like a probation officer or something was established before you even came into treatment in terms of you have to attend treatment, and even with those things, the sessions remain private. You can correct me if I'm wrong. You know, all of my experience in terms of people who have probation officers or you know, jail time and they're out, the session content is private. I may have to report to the PO if they came or not, you know, if they attended their sessions, whether they're going for anger management or whatever it may be, but the content itself is private.
Or unless a judge subpoenas our records, that is some stuff. It's some stuff we can't do, but you will know what we will release before we release it. It will not just be like you just told so and so about that. Will never happen. Well, that's not supposed to happen. We are supposed to inform the client that I just received X, Y, and Z. Now this is what I'm going to present. Or this is what I have.
The client is our priority, no matter the situation. If I have a child, the child is my priority, not the parent.
Right.
You know, if I have an adult, then they're my priority. You know, regardless of courts or whatnot, you try to err on the side of the client as much as you can, to keep them safe, to keep their information private.
Okay, ladies. So this is my last question. I am, you know, a parent with an incarcerated child, and I experience a great amount of emotion and thoughts around the day that she comes out. I have fear, I have excitement, I have anxiety, I have doubt, I have worry, I have full confidence, but I go in and out of this, in and out of this, in and out of this. How do I balance this? How do I ever come to a space of a healthy thought process where stuff is not just consuming me? Because my biggest fear is that she'll come out, even though she is supposed to be 28 years old when she comes out. She could possibly be younger, but my biggest fear is that I have to quote unquote reparent again. And how do you reparent a grown woman? That's a fear for me. So I don't know how realistic that is as far as the thought process.
I would say that's very real, and that's something that a lot of people, I think, in your situation experience. I think you would have to, I'm not going to say don't have the thoughts because that's irrational. I think it's important to recognize for yourself which thoughts are reoccurring, which thoughts are helpful. You know, are you fortune telling a whole lot? You know, is there some evidence you have to support this? Fortune telling is one of those thinking traps. You know, are you assuming that this is what you have to do, or is there some basis behind it? Now, you will have to do, like we talked about a few minutes ago, there's going to be some connections. So maybe some family therapy, things of that nature, things that you're going to have to inform them of and help them with. But I would say be mindful of how much energy you give to those thoughts, because whether you worry about it every single day until the person gets out, or you choose to do it in chunks, what's going to happen is going to happen. The only difference is you can be done pulled all your hair out by the time the person gets out, and now both of you all stressed, right? Right? or or you can pace yourself. I even told people these are rational feelings and thoughts that you have. Journal, talk to your therapist, talk to other people in the same situation, process what that means for you, those fears. What does that mean for you? How can you get control of them? And if they're happening too much, I would even say give yourself a certain amount of time to think about it. Tell yourself, I'm only going to think about this from work to home, and once I get home, I'm done. I've given that enough energy, and then I have to move on to something else. Because I think it's irrational to say just the thoughts will go away, things will be fine. Recognize them, journal about them, identify what your fears are. If you can, come up with a plan to challenge those fears. Come up with a plan to carry out once the person's back, rather. But how helpful would it be for you or them for that to consume and take over your life?
And definitely process the unresolved grief of losing them, but also process what it feels like to help them and have them back with your own therapist, and radically accept, which is something that's a clinical
section on that one.
Radically accept, basically, it is what it is. They are back, and this person is who they are, and I can't change them, and I just want to be there for them. Not smother them, but I want to be there for them. And because that's what they're trying to accept. Who am I now that I'm back? And just being supportive, I think that's a big thing that parents can do.
Well, ladies, that is it for today. Oh my God, what a great session we had today. I want to thank you, ladies, once again for sharing with us. And today we have given you some amazing information. As usual, I hang myself out into the wind butt naked to kind of share my situation with you guys, so that you know that you don't have to be ashamed. You don't have to walk in guilt. You don't have to walk in hiding. We're going to come back again. And the next time that we come back, I think we're going to talk about one more thing. And that is, who should we share our story with? And when should we share our story? And why should we share our story? Because the reality is, you need to know those things before you go to flapping your jaws about everything that's happening in your life. Everybody can't handle the truth, and you need to understand that. Everybody can't handle the truth. So we'll come back and we'll deal with that at another point in time. In the meantime, I want you to join us by sharing this video on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Comment below, ask us your questions. And if you want to email us, you can email us at Dr. Rimaker.
Dominique Rimaker 5@gmail.com. That's my first name and last name, DOMINIQUEREMAKER 5@gmail.com.
And I can be reached at Epiphany Talk Radio. That's EPIPHANY Talk Radio @gmail.com.
And I can be reached at info@pwicus.com. That's info@pwicus.com. PWIC stands for Parents with Incarcerated Children. That's our acronym. We are PWICs, Parents with Incarcerated Children. Not that we're proud, but doggone it, somebody's got to stand up and make a difference, and I'm going to do that. Will you do it with me? Until we talk again, let's enjoy life, and let's not forget that misery is a choice. And what are you choosing today? Have a good one.